Here is the tale of the tape for John Ruiz against Roy Jones Jr. Jones 3 years older at 34. He gives up 3 inches in height. He gives up what we measured to be 6 inches in reach. It's been reported elsewhere as high as 7.5. Roy Jones didn't really weigh 193 at the weigh-in. Closest associates acknowledge he weighed about 189 or 190. But tonight, he's all the way up to 199 pounds on our unofficial scale. Meanwhile, John Ruiz has lost 2 pounds since the weigh-in 2 days ago and is down to 224 tonight. And Larry Merchant, I don't think I've ever seen an instance in which a fighter lost weight since the weigh-in going into the fight.
It's happened a few times. You wonder if somehow the nerves have gotten to him, whether he's taken his food properly. But all of those wonderings generally go away after the first bell.
All right, punch that numbers, Larry.
Take a look at their activity, and you can see neither of these fighters are high punch output fighters. 37, 36 punches around. That does not promise for an action-packed fight.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The John Ruiz, Roy Jones Jr. fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight in case the cut is caused by an accidental headbutt. We go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be hit by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
Let's go up to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official introductions.
Here we go with the showdown you've all been waiting for. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Las Vegas, it is time for the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing brown trunks, fighting out of his hometown of Pensacola, Florida. He weighed in at a ready 193 pounds. With a record of 47 wins, only 1 defeat, he has 38 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he attempts to join boxing's most elite as he challenges for the heavyweight crown. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former middleweight world champion, the former super middleweight world champion, the current undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. Here is one of boxing's pound-for-pound superstars, introducing Roy Jones Jr. And his opponent across the ring, ready to fight on my right, ladies and gentlemen, out of the red corner, the defending world champion, wearing black trunks with white lettering, hailing from Chelsea, Massachusetts, and representing his homeland and heritage of Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico. His weight, 226 pounds, with a record of 38 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw. He has 27 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is boxing's first Latino heavyweight champion tonight, making the 3rd defense of his title. Please welcome the defending and determined WBA heavyweight champion of the world, introducing John, the Quiet Man, Ruiz. Once again, our referee in charge, Jay Nady, now to give instructions.
Do you have any questions? Okay. Obey my commands. Your trunks both look good. When I tell you to break, I want you to break. Step. Let's go to work.
We are
That
about
trunk's fine.
to get an answer to an age-old question. Can 2 fighters who have frequently been cautious be rubbed together to create sparks?
The fight should take place in staccato bursts. Just to make the point again, John Ruiz in his 36 rounds with Evander Holyfield averaged fewer than 40 punches a round. In fact, 37 punches a round. The heavyweight average is 48. He threw only 20 punches around against the mobile and active Kirk Johnson. Roy Jones does not throw large numbers in punches, although he does tend to throw them in bunches. Ruiz goes to the body to start out and drives Jones into the ropes.
This night, the referee is going to be the most important man in the ring other than the fighters. When he say break, these guys have got to step back if Jones is going to get any advantage at all.
Slow. Bring your punches up. No, you listen to me.
Ruiz has pounded Jones to the body in two separate flurries against the ropes. Now they go to the center of the ring, and Roy Jones, who uses the jab sparingly most of the time, begins to jab Ruiz. And Ruiz pulls in.
Roy Jones like to get in there and land his best shot early so he can make the other guy cautious.
Jones lands an uppercut.
He's not like Bob Foster, who wanted a knockout. He's a guy who want to hurt you, make you respect him, and put on the show.
Ruiz driving forward, Jones whacking him with a left hook.
Get your head up.
Right hand over the top by Jones. Already Jay Nady has been very active.
Roy will catch him coming in, but he's not your pure counterpuncher, Roy Jones Jr.
Jones going to the body. He believes that John Ruiz does not take body punches well.
Roy Jones has got an advantage because he's making the big man wait. You don't wait for a little guy.
Jones striking like lightning across the top with the right hand. As was the case in Oscar De La Hoya versus Fernando Vargas, you can see that there's a different texture to the fight when they're in the center of the ring than when they're against the ropes. Against the ropes, Ruiz would seem to have the advantages. In the center of the ring, Jones's speed may dominate.
Roy Jones doesn't like using the jab in his repertoire. He likes to hook you on the side, hook you with the left and the right. He's not interested in, so if you have an advantage of reach, he doesn't care about that. He doesn't look to jab you anyway.
But in this fight, is it a huge weakness in his arsenal if he doesn't use the jab, Drew?
No, I think it's at his advantage. When you can't outdo someone, do something else.
There's Ruiz sticking the jab twice as Jones backs away.
When you can see Jones have that much time and nothing is
solid
going
left
on.
hook. And Ruiz comes back with his own left hook and lands the first big right hand. And Jones lands a left in return. And they're fighting in the center of the ring. Big right hand by Jones.
That hurt Ruiz. That right hand hurt.
Ruiz's right hand hurt Jones more than Jones's right hand hurt Ruiz, in my judgment.
Both men have made statements in round number one.
All right, listen. Start waiting on him, Johnny. You're waiting on him, you understand? Don't wait on this kid. Get your jab in his face and keep it in there. Hit him here, hit him there. Just keep it pumping. Keep it pumping all the time.
Johnny, when you jab him and he goes...
Be straight back on me a little bit. Circle off when you're moving out. Okay? Circle out. Don't move straight back. On the head. Let's go. Give it here. All right. You're doing fine. Just circle when you come out. Don't go back straight. You understand? You're doing good. Doing good. Get some water.
Here's Ruiz trying to muscle Jones, and that last right hand seemed to rock Jones just a little bit. Jones comes back with a straight lead, quick right hand.
County box numbers in round one, fairly typical of both fighters. Ruiz 9 out of 42, Jones 11 out of 41. Fairly even round.
What Jones will have to do now is discourage Ruiz from punching low, going to the body. You got to hit him so hard that he'll never duck his head down there again. That's what Jones is trying to do.
George, Roy Jones seems to have decided that tonight is a good night to use the jab.
I don't think he's into the jab. He's going to sling a few because that's what you do.
He's jabbing to the body there.
Ruiz has stopped and given Roy Jones too much time to think and contemplate. You got to make that every round, every second of that round busy for this little man.
Gabe Murray said to John Ruiz between rounds, John, don't wait on him in there. Ruiz comes in and for most of the first minute here, waits on Jones.
Thank you very much.
This is the tempo at which Roy Jones loves to fight. Picking his spots in which to flurry and then go back to the waiting game.
You see, there's evidence that Roy Jones has hurt Ruiz. He's taking the feints now.
Body shot by Ruiz.
But a left hook by Roy Jones.
Upstairs.
If you're going to fight a small guy, don't give him time to think. He's quicker than you. If someone's going to start off with the block, he's going to beat you.
Tactically, this is more of a Jones fight than a Ruiz fight. Ruiz is not imposing his size and strength on Jones, which he was supposed to do, insisted he could do, and may yet do, but isn't doing here.
In fact, tactically, Jones has just fought a near-perfect 2 minutes, standing in the center of the ring, beating Ruiz to the punch, nowhere near the ropes, and in no way is Ruiz making his physicality a factor in the fight in this round.
He's got to charge in, charge in. If you're going to do some damage to Roy Jones Jr., Ruiz has got to charge him and bump him and bump him.
Quick combination by Jones. Gets in, moves away. His back comes perilously close to the ropes. He circles away.
No.
Ruiz wrestling.
Jones catching Ruiz on the way in with a kind of hook uppercut.
You see, with his quickness, he's got the bigger guy afraid to lead with anything.
This is the kind of round Roy Jones would like to fight all night long.
Here you go. Give me some water. Give me another water bottle up here. All right. Another water bottle. There's another water bottle. Here. That's good. That's good. Don't let him keep his feet still. Keep him trying to commit himself, okay? Keep him turning. Don't let him lock down on you. You pot shotting him, but make him turn.
Tuck in tight.
Jay, you're giving us all warnings. Give them a little. Come on. He's grabbing.
For Christ's sakes. Johnny, step in with that jab. No matter what side you move to, it's right down punch the left hook.
Seconds out. Let's go. Jab. Double it up, triple it up.
CompuBox numbers in round 2. Ruiz 4 out of 21. Jones landing 6 punches out of 32, but a few of them excellent clean shots. Hard to imagine that John Ruiz can beat Roy Jones throwing 21 punches around.
And if you look at the fight, Ruiz no longer have the height advantage. He crouches down as low as Roy Jones is. So Roy can actually jab him now. If you bigger, get tall.
That's what Jones is doing, throwing the jab more liberally here than normally, although that's his more frequent approach, is to lead with the left hook as he did there.
You got to remember, all it takes is one good punch from Ruiz to turn things around.
Ruiz trying to tee off on a body shot. Jones moves away.
You know what Jones does? He moves behind the referee. When he says break, he steps behind the referee, which is extremely smart. It gives the other guy a long time to catch up with you.
John Ruiz told us in our meeting that he wants to go back to what he sees as his lighter heavyweight style. In the early days of his career, he was a mobile boxer puncher type, and he thinks he wants to do some of that tonight. Questionable, it seems to us, as a strategy. His advantages are supposed to be those of a heavyweight.
If ever he should be fighting like a heavyweight, it's right now. No time to go back into trying to outbox a boxer and be smart. You got to be rough tonight.
Those might be the 3 best jabs I've ever seen Roy Jones land.
And 2 of the hardest body punches he's ever taken.
Those shots around the body by Ruiz, those hurt.
There's Jones going to the body, and again, he believes Ruiz is soft in the belly. In fact, when one of our producers said, "You mean he has a glass jock?" Roy Jones says, "Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm going to break his glass jock."
He's allowing Jones too much time to rest. This is no more than a light heavyweight fight for him when he can just have that much time not to do anything but just sit there and even initiate the contact. You got to jab Roy Jones to his chest, to his body, and wear him down if you're Ruiz.
Again, they go to the ropes. And again, Ruiz tries to take advantage of the chance to punish Jones to the ribcage. Except for a few moments like that, the first 3 rounds have been largely a sparring session for Roy Jones.
That Ruiz is sitting there watching and waiting for something good to happen.
And he gets caught with a right hand right on the button. And Jones hits him with the left hook and ducks the right.
The referee warned Jones that time, and Jones hadn't done anything.
Well, between rounds, Ruiz's manager, Norman Stone, yelled at Jay Nady and said, "You're always warning my guy. Why don't you warn Jones?"
And he reacted to it.
That's right. Bell.
Listen to me good. This kid ain't coming like he want to now. I want you going and stealing, but I need the combination. So the singles and doubles now, let's catch him with the 3rd shot.
You're moving good. You're moving good. You don't have to cut him off. He's right there for you. When he comes, you're going to counter punch him. You got to start throwing 1, 2, 3s now. I'm stepping over to the side. 1, 2, 3, step over to the side. You got to start moving your hands.
The 2 little ones, baby. For the 2 little ones.
Right here.
Here's Jones, who has never been a jabber in the light heavyweight division, firing jabs, landing them flush.
Meanwhile, it's the garden spot of Lower Saxony, a city of about 700,000. Hanover, Germany is the site tonight of Vladimir Klitschko's latest test as he bides his time, waiting for a shot at Lennox Lewis. Klitschko will be taking on South African southpaw puncher Corey Sanders later on tonight on World Championship Boxing. CompuBox numbers through round 3. John Ruiz, 18 out of 90 punches. In other words, he's throwing 30 per round. Jones perfectly content to work at that pace, 27 out of 112. Harold Letterman, how'd you score the first 3 rounds?
Okay, Jim, I got it 3-0, 30-27, Roy Jones Jr. Jim, I just like the way he's keeping that fight in the middle of the ring. That's where he wants to fight. He's getting off the good left jabs, getting off the good lead left hooks, and you know, just beating John Ruiz to the punch. So far, I think it's a Roy Jones Jr. fight based on clean punching and definitely ring generalship.
I scored the first round even and the other 2 for Jones.
I've been in the ring with those smaller guys, and you just cannot be in the middle of the ring with them. You got to keep them up against the rope and do what Ruiz is doing now. You can't afford to let them go back to the middle of the ring where they outdo everything. They're quicker.
There's a solid right cross by Jones. Ruiz takes it very well. When they were pinned against the ropes in the corner, Ruiz hit Jones on both hips. What was that about, George?
Well, you take the man's legs away, he can't do all the things he want to do. But Jones is accustomed to being hit down there, and he's got a good cup. Never have you seen his cup so high above his trunks.
Blood trickling from the left nostril of John Ruiz after the solid right hand by Jones about 30 seconds ago.
He's got Ruiz cautious, and that's what you've got to get in there and fight him if you Ruiz. You can do this thing if you get the maul in this guy. Ruiz is making a mistake of keep getting caught with shots thinking this guy can't hit. All of a sudden, those little guys will knock your head off.
Hard to imagine there's any fighter above 160 pounds whom Roy Jones can't beat to the punch. He is repeatedly beating Ruiz to the punch in the center of the ring.
Only because Ruiz doesn't punch until he gets hit.
Jones ducks the jab, and Ruiz begins pawing at the blood around his nose.
Now Roy Jones is not even moving backwards much.
Even while jabbing Ruiz in the face accurately, Jones continues to look at the middle of Ruiz's chest.
and he slides away behind the referee again. That's wonderful.
Masterful stuff.
That's what Angelo Dundee would teach. You're using the referee good. Good jab to the body by Ruiz.
And that's a tactic he must use.
That can get him into the fight and get him in the fight good.
So far, it's been Jones who's jabbing to the body. Now Ruiz gets in a good one. Ooh! He stunned him with that. He stunned him with that.
Ruiz walked into a right hand, and it shook him.
And now Jones looks to do it again. Just missed. And John Ruiz has tasted Jones's power.
What are you doing waiting? You all right? Huh?
Get him ice, get some ice.
The fuck you waiting on this kid for? He's coming out, Johnny. He's coming out.
Finish it. Listen, Johnny. You gotta get on him.
You better get out.
Get on him. Don't wait.
Keep it like that. You got control. You're doing the right thing now. Just keep it like that, okay? All right? Yep. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Watch Jones's punch as he hits him with a clean right hand, a little high, stunned Ruiz momentarily.
That's all you want to do if you're the smaller guy. Yeah. Stun the big man, make him wait.
So far, this fight has lived up to the odds, which reflected the belief that it would be an exceptional smaller man against a rugged journeyman.
Now Jay Nady stops the action, and he wants Vaseline taken off of Roy Jones's face. Alton Murchison does the honors. Power shots in 4. Jones 8 out of 18. Ruiz 5 out of 21. Roy's pretty much had his way, except for those moments when he's been pinned against the ropes and has taken body shots from Ruiz.
Ruiz looks a little bit more determined to get inside to him now.
Stop! We're holding hitting him. Well, you were holding. He can hit you.
Lead left hook.
Every time Ruiz covers up, Roy Jones slaps him anyway to make him say, take your hands down, don't cover up.
One of the reasons Jones likes to lead with the left hook is that the natural motion of the punch takes him to the side as he throws it, so it's hard for somebody to pay him back. It feels like with the jab, he's going straight in, and he's more vulnerable to the counter punch. But here tonight, he's used the jab more liberally than before.
This has turned into a typical Roy Jones fight, but Ruiz still's got the power. You can't play around with him. Ooh, body shots by Roy Jones.
We've twice seen him knock men out with body shots. He starts Virgil Hill with a single shot to the liver.
I can still hear the slap of that shot to Virgil Hill's body in my ear.
Now here's Ruiz again, pounding against Jones's cup and against his hips to try to take Roy's legs away.
He's got to continuously fight like that. He can't let these minutes go by where he's not doing anything. You beat a guy in the body, you got to be right back on him. When the referee says break, get right back on him. Otherwise, he recuperates.
It looks like Jones is starting to fight more like the big man than Ruiz.
Jones busting Ruiz with a left hook. And another right cross. Roy mocking Ruiz in there.
This is one time Jones cannot play around.
Ruiz landed a right hand.
He played with the light heavyweights, but you can't play with the big guys like this.
Well, Roy's standing there with his hands below his waist, George.
That's good, but don't play and laugh and try to get into exchanges.
Again, whacking Ruiz with the left hook. Ruiz just a little short with that right hand.
You see, before Ruiz can get started, you're down to 10 seconds. You can't get it that way.
Another good round for Roy Jones's boxing style. Seated at ringside, the heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis. Waiting to see if John Ruiz can elevate his own status as a potential challenger by beating Roy Jones. March 29, former heavyweight champ Hasim Rahman, who upset Lennox Lewis in South Africa, faces the man who beat him 4 years ago in a controversial fight, the Samoan puncher David Tua. Also, middleweight champ Bernard Hopkins, who gave Felix Trinidad such a pounding, fights in his hometown of Philadelphia against Murad Hakar.
Listen, John. Come on, listen, Jocelyn and John. Walk him down.
John, you gotta fight.
With that jab and bang him. Let's not fight now. Look, the right hand's gonna come from here and fast. He sees it coming. You throw like he's regular heavyweight. He sees it coming. Throw a shot behind.
Come on, John. You gotta get in this fight, man. You gotta get in this fight.
All right, everything's going good. Try to work your jab a little more, offset some, then give him a big shot. But turn.
Now take a look at the body punch that Roy Jones slams into the right side. And there's the right hand. Perhaps the best punch that Ruiz has landed. Roy Jones says that he doesn't even like a fly to land on his face. He's very seldom been hit by clean punches with serious power and leverage behind it. He was hit by that one.
On Harold Letterman's card, Roy Jones has won every round. By CompuBox numbers, he's 55 out of 192 to Ruiz's 35 out of 160. Jones attacking sparingly, conserving his energy, fighting in staccato bursts, exactly the way he likes to do it. Ruiz not pressuring him, not making him fight at a pace that might wear him down. Left hook lands for Jones.
He's trying to be quicker than the faster man. You can't do it. You got to get up on Roy Jones, get your head on his shoulders and his chest, and stay there.
You know, you made a great point, George, when you said Ruiz has to go in there and play football. He's not playing football.
No, he's
boxing.
playing basketball.
That's right, he's playing basketball.
Yeah,
and Jones wins
basketball.
that game.
See,
straight right hand landed for Jones. Ruiz tried to attack. Roy got away.
Ruiz has been reluctant to use his size and strength because every time he comes in on Jones, he has to pay for it, and he doesn't want to pay that price.
Stop, let go.
You see Roy Jones goes to the middle of the ring. He's got 5 or 6 steps before the ropes come. Ruiz shouldn't allow him that. Keep him over there beside those ropes.
Again, the trickle of blood from the left nostril of John Ruiz. Jones looks to his right, lands a left hook. Toying with Ruiz, the way he has with a long string of light heavyweight challengers who weren't good enough to test him.
We're halfway through this fight. And I heard, my colleague said earlier, this guy's too small. Hey, you can take that away. He's fighting like a big man, and he can do this to anyone. I don't care if you're 6'12". Can you be 6'12"?
Ask Shaq O'Neal. He's around here someplace.
Straight right hand lands flush for Jones. Pot-shotting John Ruiz from the outside.
Remember, all it takes is one good shot by Ruiz, and things can change.
This is the way Roy Jones looked fighting Glenn Kelly. This is the way Roy Jones looked fighting Richard Frazier. This is the way Roy Jones looked fighting Richard Hall. Guys who couldn't hold his jock in the light heavyweight division. He's toying with Ruiz the way he did with them. Now here goes John Ruiz, looking to impose himself into the fight.
This is the fight that Ruiz has got to fight. Keep it right there. Don't let it, if the referee breaks you up, go right back to it.
Hard body shot by Jones, hard body shot by Ruiz. Another round in which Ruiz mostly waited for Jones to do damage.
Get your head up.
Get the blood off of it.
Warm here, you get the bet.
Come on, where the water? Give it here.
You get the bet.
In his 7-year professional career, Ukrainian heavyweight sensation Vladimir Klitschko has fought in more than a dozen German cities. Tonight, it is Hanover, which hosts the latest installment in Vladimir's development. Hard-punching South African Corey Sanders is the next to try to prove that Vladimir is an Eastern European myth rather than the real thing. Meanwhile, waiting to show his stuff, the 6'6", 242-pound Klitschko biding his time as he waits for a shot at Lennox Lewis and looking to knock out Corey Sanders later on World Championship Boxing tonight.
7 times.
Don't fight his fight.
Yeah.
Don't get into that motion, John. He's the best at it. Don't even go there with him. All right? Come on, hands up, jab, walk him down, and wear him out the plan.
Just keep putting pressure on him.
This has not been a scintillating action fight, but there is drama in watching the smaller man outwit and out-hit the bigger guy. At the end, Ruiz does force his way into Jones, but he can't land anything clean.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, 60-54, 6 rounds to nothing. Roy Jones Jr. I gotta tell you something, Jim. He's making his fight look so easy. I don't know. Standing in the middle of the ring, getting off first constantly. Now he's landing combinations. It's not only one tremendous left hook or one tremendous left jab like you saw there. It's combinations, hitting him with everything. Roy Jones Jr. all the way.
You know, you could go back in his career and find whole years with 2 or 3 title defenses in which Jones didn't lose a round. So it's not unusual to see a whitewash on the scorecard halfway through.
And in general, his fights have unfolded much like this one.
It looked a lot like this.
Ruiz has got him close enough to the ropes. Well, he let it get away again. You got to get him close to the ropes and just start throwing shots. Now he's close again. And he allows him to get that corner again, where it's 5 steps away.
Ruiz's unwillingness to press the action. Now here he goes. All right, just as I say it, his will arises. But surely what Ruiz is doing in there tonight tells us that Jones did indeed add some power to his punching.
No. Thank you.
You think so, George?
I didn't hear that.
Think Jones is hitting harder than he did at 175 here?
Oh, no doubt about it. He's feeling the power. But Jones is not a guy who's looking for a knockout. You can forget that. I said earlier, Bob Foster said he couldn't hurt those heavyweights because he was trying to get a knockout. Jones does not look for knockout. He's a 12-round fighter.
That's true. Often in the light heavyweight division against outclassed opponents, he's gone 12 rounds just because he doesn't like to take chances in the ring.
Ruiz gets him into the corner, pound on him, and then let a whole 2 minutes go by without doing a thing.
When they stand in the center of the ring and 10 seconds go by with no action, that doesn't help John Ruiz. That helps Roy Jones.
Roy Jones was able to land a body shot a moment ago that got Ruiz holding his right hand close to his sides. That right hand hurt. Now he's got him against the ropes. He's got to go for it. Right hand lead by Roy Jones. That hurt.
7 rounds, not much change in the flow. Ruiz trying a little harder in that round to press the action, but he's not there yet. There's the man who beat Larry Holmes in 1985, Michael Spinks. He did it by throwing flurries of punches and bunches and then getting out of the way.
Stick and move, baby. Bullshit.
You went there? Huh?
Come on, Roy. You gotta, Johnny. You gotta fucking do what you gotta do. This fucking Roy is doing everything, man. Come on.
Norman Stone just called his fighter Roy.
Come. All right. Get in there with that jab and walk him down and throw the other punch.
Mix your power up in there, okay? I got you. If that one jab don't work, give me a light, strong jab.
We wanted to know whether John Ruiz could ask questions of Jones that his other outclassed opponents couldn't.
So far, no.
So far, he has been unable to do it.
Absolutely right. CompuBox numbers through round 7. Ruiz 51 out of 226. Jones throwing more, landing more, fighting the fight he wants to fight as long as this isn't happening. Now Ruiz starts to do what he wants to do. And Jones punches him away. There was a hard right hand by Ruiz.
Watch your head, please.
Jones seemed to take it pretty well.
This is when you find out the light heavyweights and the heavyweights. When you get into the latter rounds, all of that weight starts counting against you. These are the rounds that you find out that heavyweights are different.
It wasn't you, George, who pointed out that Billy Conn would have beaten Joe Louis if it was a 12-round fight.
12 rounds, he would have beat him. But went into the latter round, the 13th round, and that's when he failed.
Of course, Louis knew it was going to be a 15-round fight. That probably helped.
True.
But this is when that extra weight and the pushing and shoving and all of that stuff starts working against.
But there really hasn't been enough
Particularly
of
if
it.
Ruiz had been able to do all that early in the fight. But he hasn't done enough of it, it would seem, to have a huge effect on Jones.
Well, when you hit these big guys to the body, it starts taking a lot out of you as well.
But Jones has managed to move as he likes to do at a measured pace. They trade punches there in the center of the ring. Probably the biggest thing that's happened in this round is that John Ruiz got in a clean right-hand shot against Roy Jones on the ropes, and Jones was able to handle it.
Roy Jones does not stand still long enough for Ruiz to land that right hand. He's aiming all night to get that right hand.
Now Jones
he's got him against the rope
on his own.
And he
Ruiz has an opportunity, and Jones gets away.
2 feet from the ropes, Ruiz has got to jump in.
Good quick shot by Jones. Again, put Ruiz on the defensive.
Blood from Ruiz's nose now dripping onto his chest. He looks like something out of an oil painting.
But Ruiz has been in this boat before. He knows about the wave that goes along in these rounds. The bleeding and the suffering and the big guys hitting on you. He's not discouraged by that.
He is
He just can't get this guy to stand still.
And determined, but he is also very limited.
You see, 10 seconds again and nothing has happened.
Two-thirds of the way through, and Roy Jones is 4 rounds away from his conquest of the first heavyweight he's fought.
Johnny, we got 4 more
Hard
rounds
to
left.
imagine that Jones doesn't have a lopsided lead on the scorecards based on effective punching.
You gotta pick it up, Johnny. You hear me? The 9th round, baby. What? We got 3 more rounds.
Over and over, Harold Letterman tells you it's about effective aggression, clean punching. And that's what Roy Jones has been able to do.
And not only that, when a fighter does this, it creates a picture in the minds of the judges as well as the fans that one guy is landing the clean punches, the other guy is lunging, seldom lands something really clean and hurtful. So Roy Jones is surely winning the drama of the fight as well as the fight itself.
But in round 8, for the first time, John Ruiz threw and landed more punches. Ruiz 14 out of 46 in the 8th, Jones 13 out of 34. So if the judges were looking for a round to give to Ruiz, maybe that was it.
It's all about Roy Jones being able to keep his legs strong now. Continue doing what he's doing. He get any weakness at all, then that's when Ruiz can take over.
Roy Jones told us that he trained only 5 out of every 7 days during the week because he knew he'd need his legs tonight. He wanted to keep his legs fresh by cutting back on the volume of training.
You know, we've all celebrated him for his...
He's getting a little lazy now.
For his talents and his reflexes, but he is also one of the smartest guys we've seen in the ring.
He's getting a little lazy now, Roy Jones, trying to coast a little bit, waiting on those last 3 rounds. You can't coast with the big guys.
know, forget just the ring, Larry. I always say that Roy Jones is one of the 4 or 5 smartest people I've ever met. Look at the amount of money he's made in the ring compared to the amount of risk he's had to take to earn it. That's pretty smart.
As he said, y'all must have forgot.
Yep.
Like I said, this fight is turning the way Ruiz wanted to now. Jones is not moving around so much. He's standing in one place.
Hard body shot by Ruiz. Jones pounds his belly as if to say, give me more.
Ruiz has not taken one chance. You got to take a chance. Dive in.
George, that's who John Ruiz is. That's who he's always been. Ever since the Tua fight, he hasn't wanted to take chances.
If you're not going to take a chance with Roy Jones Jr., light heavyweight, you're never going to take a chance.
Well,
the Tua fight was 7 years ago. John Ruiz wants everybody to forget it. Maybe he hasn't. It was, of course, the 19-second knockout that devastated him and his career at that time. All credit to Ruiz for the determination and the grit he's shown in redeveloping and rescuing his career from that point.
Absolutely, Jim.
You got to understand that David Tua was 50 pounds heavier than Roy Jones.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, but
there's no need in holding back now. Let it go. This is for your title. You earn it. Don't let a guy just pick pack you out of your title. A good shot right to the chest by Ruiz.
That's maybe the most effective flurry of body punches that John Ruiz has been able to throw in the fight.
I gave him that round.
He could well have won the last 2.
Well, let him get away.
John, we got to put this in second gear, baby. We got to put this in second gear.
Championship round. So get out there and fight this
gear, baby. We got to make it a fight now.
Come in an angle. Start banging him.
You can't just walk around him, John. You got to move your hands.
Look at this round. You winning them with them slingers, but put them together for me. All right? All right. Way to go.
Tighten your abs up.
Way to go, baby. Way to keep him turning like that. He's stepping. Just pop him with the jab every time he come to you. When you get a clear shot, go ahead and lay it out. Good? Yep.
How do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim. 8 rounds to 1. 89, 82. Roy Jones Jr. I gave round 9 to John Ruiz because, he got inside, pounded the body. Roy sort of just stayed on the outside and popped him with a few jabs. But I got to tell you, this fight, Roy Jones Jr. is keeping it exactly where he wants the fight to be. That's great ring generalship. Landed a clean, hard, effective shots, just like Larry called it. Doing all the punching. It's all Roy Jones.
I have it 7-1-1.
Missed again. Left hook landed. Right hand landed. Jones not throwing back as Ruiz tries to unload his weapons against him against the ropes. This is Roy Jones's worst habit, backing himself onto the ropes and allowing the opponent to wail away.
Oh, but Roy Jones' legs are getting heavy now. This 12 rounds with the big boys makes you tired.
His hands are still fast, though.
Hands are fast, but the legs are heavy.
Again, Jones more or less backs himself onto the ropes and gives Ruiz an opportunity. Something Roy has done over and over again against lesser light heavyweight opponents, but which most critics felt he couldn't afford to do here tonight.
He's using a jab tonight.
Oh, that's a good left hook in there.
Now he's starting to lean in and rub against the big guy. This only works for Ruiz. Uh-oh.
Gets away with a blow right on the belt line, and it was a good one. Jay Nady didn't even think about calling that a low blow.
I thought it might have been a little low, but didn't apparently do any damage.
It was low, but I guess they saw it wasn't intentional.
Right hand by Jones, snapped Ruiz. Gives Jones a chance to get back to the center of the ring. Drives Ruiz back again with the right hand. Ruiz had some moments in the first minute of this round, but Jones has regained command with the speed of his hands.
The left jab tonight. We've never seen Roy Jones go back to the left jab.
And now back into the corner and onto the ropes. But only 10 seconds left in the round as Jones gets away. Takes a left hand from Ruiz. Only 2 rounds to go.
Keep it like that. Give me some water.
Every time that Roy Jones goes to the corner, he has to request of water. That's not good.
I think he can get by with it for 2 more rounds, George.
Think so?
Yeah.
Just keep doing it like
this motherfucker!
This is it, John.
Fight him! Go and get him. Go and fight this fucking guy!
Hands up. You think you go to the body, you come up to the head. Come up to the head.
Fight him!
Come on, Johnny.
Fight him!
He's taking your fucking title away from you.
The referee sucks! All you work for! The ref sucks! Fight him! Fuck the referee!
Come on,
Get out
listen,
there,
Aaron.
fight him!
Come on.
Fight him! The referee sucks!
Come on, John.
Fight this motherfucker! The referee sucks!
The genteel stylings of Norman Stone in the Ruiz corner.
Yeah, he's trying to give a transfusion of spirit to Ruiz.
They're trying to put a personality into John Ruiz that, as you pointed out, Larry, isn't really his.
And we have to remember that it was Jones's mild-mannered trainer, Alton Murchison, who belted Stoney himself the other day.
Yeah.
Knocked him down, sent him to the hospital.
You wondered what it would take to perturb Alton Murchison? We found out. Norman Stone. One at a time with those body shots. Jones has proven he can take it one at a time.
Boy, if Roy Jones is able to go 12 rounds with this guy, we've let the cat out of the bag. He can do anything.
I got to tell you, George, I never doubted for a second that he could do this.
But Ruiz has got that punch if he can just get that power in there. Jones better be careful. Land the shots, but don't get into the exchanges. Ruiz has got the power.
Well, it's breathtaking when Roy decides to take over and becomes the aggressor against Ruiz, because you all know the risk. But Roy's just staring it down with his hand speed, his quickness, his skill. This much we know, this much we see. Roy Jones is a great fighter. The guy he's fighting is not.
Remember, it got late into the light heavyweight title. Sugar Ray Robinson was challenging
Joey Maxim.
And he just couldn't take it anymore. He said it was the lights, but it was because of that extra weight leaning and bumping.
But that was a night when it was 110 degrees under the lights. And Robinson was constantly moving. Roy Jones has been an absolute genius of economy in this fight. He hasn't had to use his legs all that much.
Ruiz telling Roy Jones to come on, come on. Maybe she tell him to stop it, stop it.
Round 11 has been a virtuoso round for Roy Jones, who has toured the ring to all of its corners, taken a little bit of punishment against the ropes, and by and large, tattooed John Ruiz whenever he wanted to.
Johnny, you got to fight, man.
Back yourself on corner now.
Referee stuck.
You need a knockout. You gotta go and knock him out. No ifs, ands about it. You gotta go out and knock this guy out.
Some water. Put some water over his neck there.
Come on.
Johnny, you gotta go out and knock this motherfucker out.
There's no ifs, ands about it. Come on. Let's see what you're all about now. All right? We're gonna see what you're all about.
Come on.
One more round.
Get out of our corner. Get out of our corner. Get out of our corner.
Fight behind
I'm gonna find out you bet on. I'm gonna fight behind you. I'll take bullshit. He held the whole fight. Johnny, come on and go get him, Johnny. He held the whole fight. Come on.
Keep him out there. Keep him out there.
Come on. That's why you're pissed off at Cortez. You said you would have taken a point. Now I know. They're in the bag.
One of the good things that's happening is here we'll probably never have to see Norman Stone again.
That'd be good. That'd be excellent.
Ruiz is mad. He's lost his temper. His corner cussed him out. He's going to fight now.
He's going to try. They told him he needs a knockout. Harold, how do you have it?
Okay, Jim, I've got it 10 rounds to 1, 109, 100, Roy Jones Jr. Jim, I can't see where John Ruiz can win one in a round or two in this fight. All he's doing is plodding forward and getting nailed by lead rights and hard left hooks or lead left jabs. I mean, Roy's hitting him with everything but the kitchen sink. Easy, Roy Jones Jr., based on clean punching and that effective aggressiveness and a ring generalship.
What Roy Jones has done so far is to expose a real paper champion.
Bingo. John Ruiz's WBA heavyweight belt doesn't mean he's a heavyweight champion.
Hey guys, don't say that. That's not true. Don't go be hypocrites. You help promote the fight, and then you tear it down in the last couple of rounds.
We didn't promote it as a heavyweight championship fight, George. The promoters did.
Well, the promoters, they sold it to us. Now, don't take the money away from him. The guy's winning. He's winning big because he's fighting a guy who's beaten Evander Holyfield, everyone else.
He beat Evander Holyfield once in 3 fights.
Yeah, but don't take the glory from Roy Jones.
Nobody said he didn't have a title. He just says it's a paper title.
Yeah, everyone is a paper title.
Meanwhile, with a minute and a half to go in the fight, the action continues pretty much the way it has up to this point. And John Ruiz, after coming out determined, as George pointed out in this round, hasn't been able to make it translate into anything. Roy Jones has been brilliant. As he knows, because he's smiling about it right now.
Ruiz still got a chance. Still's got a chance.
No, he doesn't, George.
Oh, okay.
I applaud you for wanting to give him the credit that he might make for himself, to give him a chance as a
if Roy Jones win this fight, people are going to start picking on little guys, picking on Shaquille O'Neal.
So the predictions of those who thought that Roy Jones couldn't possibly last 12 rounds in the ring with a man who outweighs him by this margin prove empty and false.
And the crowd stands and cheers Roy Jones.
And he deserves it. He chose his niche. He creatively picked his risk. He excited the boxing world. And he dominated the fight. In the Jones corner. John Ruiz tentatively held his fist up in the air and then sort of quietly walked back into his own corner.
No badges or nothing. Again.
Now Norman Stone wants to control ring security. In addition to all the other good things he's done. Michael Spinks, 18 years after his conquest of Larry Holmes, watches as another light heavyweight champ appears to have moved up and won a heavyweight title belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, the judges are in agreement. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Jerry Roth scores the bout 116 to 112. Dwayne Ford scores the bout 117 to 111. Judge Stanley Christodoulou sees the bout 118 to 110. All three in favor of the winner. Joining boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones loves title belts. He has collected as many or more than any other current fighter, and he's got another belt now, and I got a hunch this is going to be his favorite one. Final CompuBox numbers, an economical fight, not a lot of punches thrown. Jones throwing more and landing more overall, or actually throwing fewer and landing more, as Ruiz overtook him in those last few rounds in the punches thrown category. Jabs. And when have you ever seen Roy Jones throw 220 jabs in a fight?
The battle of the jabs.
And land 57. And George, I don't want to take credit, but I told you early in the fight, it looks like tonight he's chosen to jab.
You're right, but
he's
all
stuck
great
with
heavyweight champions had a good jab.
And Larry Merchant stands by with the winner.
Thank you very much, Jim, and congratulations, Roy. You went into this fight saying you had doubt. When did that doubt go away?
Let me tell you something. First of all, I have to take this time out to thank God for blessing me, for giving me this vision so many years ago, actually, and just putting it in me, man, to come out and show what God can do through you if you only believe. That's what took the doubt away. I knew God planned this for me. I've been knowing God had this plan for me. I just didn't know how it would happen, when it would happen, where it would happen, but I knew God had a plan for me.
When you went into the ring, the bell rings, you're going out there, you're facing the biggest man you've ever faced. What concerned you at that moment?
Just the fact that I don't walk into a big punch early, because I've never been hit in 10-ounce gloves by a heavyweight. So my dad very well prepared me for this. Merck did a wonderful job. Mackie Shilstone did a hell of a job. We all came together as a team. Pensacola in the house.
So you're saying your first concern was don't get hit by a big sucker punch.
Yeah, don't get caught by something while I'm asleep.
And then
Mobile, baby.
And then it looked
Gulf Coast.
like virtually all of your fights. A guy comes to you, you hit him, and he stops coming.
I told you I was jump on weak. I came out there. I knew he thought I was going to run. You didn't see him run. You just saw some more boxing. I didn't run. I box. That's what I do for a living. And like I said, until somebody beat Roy Jones, I'm not changing.
What does this mean to you now?
God does it all. This means that I am pound for pound the baddest mother you know what to ever touch a pair of boxing gloves. I don't care what nobody say. Larry Merchant, anybody, I am the baddest. They can say what they want to say. How many times have a man started as a junior middleweight and became the heavyweight champion of the world? It don't happen. Only Ali can shock the world like I did. Huh?
Not middleweight.
Let's look ahead for a bit. There seems to be two logical opponents out there. Give us your thought. One might be, as a heavyweight, one might be Evander Holyfield. You once traveled to Atlanta to check him out to see if he wanted to fight you. He didn't seem to at that time. Now that you have a belt, he might want to. What is your feeling?
Well, I mean, I like Evander. Evander's a great fighter. However, for me to beat Evander this time in his career would not mean anything to me. He's older than I am. He's on his way out. John beat him 2 times. I beat John. If I beat him, what they going to say? Nothing. So it's not really a big issue to me. I didn't want to do this to become a legitimate heavyweight. I just wanted one fight. So I have to see what's on the table for me. If something is beautiful, I mean, if they offer me something that's totally undeniable, then maybe, I don't know. But I got to see what's happening. I don't know yet.
Chris Bird.
I did this to make history.
Chris Bird, who also, like you, was a middleweight, started a little bigger than you. He's got a title. Your thoughts about fighting him someday to unify 2 titles?
Chris Bird's a friend of mine. Chris Bird's a great fighter. He's a great southpaw fighter. I take my hat off to him. He's been in the heavyweight division a lot longer than myself. You know, if it's good for the public and if it's good money, I mean, why not? But if it's not really big money, no, I'm not going to do that, because I like Chris. I got a lot of admiration. Chris is the one who really actually helped inspire me to go ahead and come up and do this.
So to interpret what you're saying if there is some extraordinary money on the table, you would have to seriously consider defending your title as a heavyweight.
I honestly have to look at it. I can't say I wouldn't. That's only right, you know what I mean? So, you know.
Congratulations on a great night, Roy.
HBO Pensacola in the house!
After his in-the-ring interview with Roy Jones, Larry Merchant went to John Ruiz's dressing room to seek an interview with the loser.
We're in John Ruiz's dressing room. John, you describe what happened.
You know, he's going to get, I guess I'm going to get off. You know what I mean? It's just something that every time I went in, you know, it's like every time the referee was accusing me of holding, so, you know, I didn't know what else to do. You know what I mean? Because he was, basically when he hold me, he just let it go, and basically he was holding behind my head and punching me at the same time. You know, he basically described when he came to this dressing room, no hitting while holding. I mean, I don't know what rules he was following in that. And it's tough to fight two people in a ring, you know, so, hey, he I guess it's one of those things that always happens to me. I mean, I always get the bad end of it, you know. So now you know, he must just thank the referee for doing his job well.
So are you suggesting that if you could have fought him the way you wanted to on the ropes, you wouldn't have stood in the middle of the ring with him?
Oh, definitely. I was going in. I was actually, you know, he didn't give me even time to punch up, because when I was punching out, he was telling me I'm hitting beyond the back. There's no way I hit him beyond the back. You know, I mean, this referee, I don't know where he came from, but, you know, he should be investigated for one thing.
All right, let's talk about Roy Jones Jr. then. You've obviously never faced anyone as quick as him. Describe what it was like when you had to fight him, whatever the conditions were.
It wasn't, you know, it wasn't no problem. I mean, I was getting in there, and as soon as I got in there, the referee wanted to jump in. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, there's no way, you know, a guy like me, a heavyweight, you know, I mean, he's not. He's going to let them fight outside instead of let them work from the inside and, you know, get out. You know, it's something.
So you felt that you wanted to lean on him, use your weight on him, wear him down during the fight, and that you couldn't do it?
You know, every referee will let everybody punch their way out of the clinches and stuff. I mean, he's I don't know. He was some strict from him. I mean, I guess he was following Jones' instructions for one thing.
Well, all right, but say this. Let me give you a chance, John. Do you want to give Roy Jones any credit for what happened tonight?
I was catching him. I mean, just when I got in there, how can I give him my credit when the referee did not let me fight? You know what I mean? Let me fight my fight. You know what I mean? How could I give someone else credit? If he would have let me fight my fight and he still would have won, then I would have took my hat off. But then, you know what I mean? He didn't even let me do anything of that. So.